When it comes to utility and raw damage output, swords are definitely on top as one of the best heavy weapons inside of Destiny 2. So naturally, I've compiled a list of my top 5 swords inside of the game. Now, when it comes to perks on these weapons, we're pretty limited for choice, but I just want to outline some of the best perks you can possibly get on swords. So I've created this table which pretty much shows you all of the viable perks for these weapons, and as you can see, we actually have quite a few here. It's worth noting that some of the swords on this list will have static rolls and others will only be able to roll with a selection of these perks. Right then, kicking things off at number 5, we have the Throne Cleaver, which is the Heroic Menagerie Titan exclusive drop. Obtaining this weapon is as simple as grinding out Heroic Menagerie, and I actually believe it's a guaranteed drop on your first run. Now, I had to put this weapon on the list. It's actually an aggressive frame, so heavy attacks with this weapon will cause you to throw yourself in the air and slam the weapon into the ground. Although this is the best part about the weapon, it's also very inconsistent, but I would still recommend going after Throne Cleaver as it's such a fun weapon to use. Next up, we have Gold Tusk, my personal favourite sword in the whole of Destiny and also one of the coolest weapons in the game. Although I may be a little bit biased here as the Gold Tusk video was one of my most successful videos ever. To get this weapon, you'll need to play as the Hunter on Heroic Menagerie. Now, a cool property about the Gold Tusk is it can actually roll with Surrounded, and in PvE you're pretty much always running at multiple enemies, so Surrounded almost feels like a passive damage increase. Overall, Gold Tusk is a very fun and unique weapon, but with some of the newer swords added to Destiny, it has to take number 4 on my list. At number 3, we have Temptation's Hook. Now, this weapon actually fires a projectile as its heavy attack. Now, this is a fantastic weapon which can roll with some really cool perks, and on that list we actually have Vorpal Weapon, which increases your damage against vehicles and bosses. Combining Relentless Strikes with Vorpal Weapon can make this sword an absolute beast inside of PvE. Overall, Temptation's Hook is a very respectable pick, not to mention it also deals arc damage, which can be insanely useful as most of the weapons on this list actually deal void damage. At number 2, we have Black Talon. The reason this weapon is so high up is it's actually viable in PvP as well as PvE. Black Talon has a consistent and fast heavy attack that fires really fast and has some light seeking. Not to mention the catalyst on the weapon will increase the damage of the projectile after blocking an attack. The only real disadvantage of Black Talon is the fact it's an exotic and it will take up your exotic slot, but I would definitely recommend trying this weapon out inside of PvP, it's so much fun. Taking our number 1 spot, we have Falling Guillotine. What is not to love about this weapon? It has an amazing heavy attack and a fantastic selection of perks. To obtain this weapon, you'll need to get to tier 30 on the Season of Arrival's Season Pass. Now, where do I start with this weapon? It's just a fantastic sword and it can roll with Surrounded, Whirlwind Blade and also Relentless Strikes. Not to mention the heavy attack makes you spin around and consistently deal damage all around you. For solo players, this can make bosses feel like an absolute breeze as the Falling Guillotine is perfectly capable with the right build of soloing many bosses. Anyway, that is my list. I really hope Bungie try and add more melee weapons to the game as there's so much that could be done with this archetype. Well, thank you for watching, thank you for all the support, it's been insane recently, we're well on our way to 400 subscribers. Anyway guys, thank you and goodbye.